Hi everybody, it's me again, Deb, and I'm coming to you from Wisconsin. Today I want to talk about some creativity challenges that I've done with students in the past in the classroom, but I'm also going to put a digital spin on many of these. So since we're talking during the month of September all about creativity, I thought these would be great to share. Here's an activity that I've done for just boosting up creativity. Ask your students in just 2 minutes to list as many possible uses that they can think of for an everyday object. For example, like a paperclip. So this is an example of what a possible list might look like once the kids start brainstorming. And in the past, I've just done this pencil paper and we kind of share out. And if you have an answer that nobody else has thought of, it might be worth 5 points. And if you have an answer that others have thought of, it might only be worth a point, and so on and so forth. But let's put a digital spin on this and use a site called Socrative, and I'll show you how this can be turned into a class vote. There are quite a few different ways that you can assess your students using Socrative, but the way we're going to do today is almost like a brainstorming and then voting way. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go to the site and click on this quick question, which is one of your options. Next, once we click quick question, we're going to go and click on short answer because we want students to be able to type in their answers. Then, after students have generated a list of all the possible uses for an ordinary object, we're going to start a vote. Let me show you how it works. Once we're at the site, you do need to have a teacher account. Your students, on the other hand, do not need an account. They can simply join your classroom with your class code. When I click on quick question, as a teacher I have 3 options: multiple choice, true, false, or short answer. We're going to choose short answer. Next, you have an option to put in the question in text. You can also just verbally say the question to your students and they can just listen. But we'll put our question in here. Next, as a teacher, I have a setting that I can change. Right now, by default, the students would only be able to give one single response, but I want to change this over and give them an unlimited amount of responses to type in as many ideas that they can think of in the 2 minutes that they're being given. Next, I also, by default, have student name as anonymous, so I wouldn't know who said what. I'd rather require that students actually log in and I know who's saying what. So I'm going to set those 2 settings and then click start. So now what happens is students join my room. This is my room, Norton's room. Then they can type in the responses. So let's see what happens when a student does this. So when students go to the site, they simply click on student login. Next, they need the teacher's room code. Mine was Norton's room. They join the room. And then, as you can see, they have to enter their name because I made it so they were not anonymous. And as a student, I'm going to now start submitting answers. So my first one might be cufflinks. And then I submit the answer. But notice I now have another box and I can continue putting in more answers. So I'll say it could be an earring. Submit my answer. So all of the students are submitting answers just like I'm doing right now at the same time. So as a teacher, as the answers are coming in, I can see them coming in right here. I can even project this in front of the room. I do not have to show names. That can be anonymous as far as what the students see. I can click and show names if I want to, and we can see who said what. But if I were showing this in front of the class, I'd probably just hide the names for now. I can also go through and we can talk about answers that maybe aren't good answers, such as I'm not sure. I can remove that answer from the group. I can also look and see if there's any doubles. I can remove one of the 2 so that we only get single answers. Once I've eliminated the list down and we've discussed it as a group and found some of the better answers, then the next thing I can do is something called start a vote. When I click on start vote, what happens is all of the answers that I had left up come up on the screen. Now let's look at that from a student's point of view. I see the list and it says vote. What are the possible uses for a paperclip? I can now vote for what I feel as a student is one of the best answers that was submitted. It may not be an answer I submitted, but after thinking about it, I might like this one answer in particular. So I can click and vote. I believe you can vote on more than one as well, and then you can submit your answer. And what's really awesome is as a class, you can see which of the items are getting voted for and have the highest percent. So right now, a stand for a small book is winning in this vote. This is a great way to poll a class, generate ideas, and develop some creativity, but also kind of reward those students for having those really creative answers by voting on the best answers. Here's another really fun activity I used to do with my students all the time. I would give the students a very simple shape, and then they would take that shape and put it on a piece of paper and try to then complete the picture and what they imagine it to be. So you can see the examples here, like they might be given this shape and out of that comes this picture. or this shape might turn into this picture. What this does is it shows their artistic creativity and they're thinking beyond just a simple shape. So there is a great app out there to do something very similar to this, but instead of paper and pencil, you could do this digitally. This is a Chrome app called Sketchpad. And we're going to go there and I'm going to show you how it works. So as I said, this is in the Chrome Web Store. If you go there and search for Sketchpad, it will put it with one of your apps. Here's what the site itself looks like when you first get started. You have different tools across the top, so I'm using a pencil to draw the shape my teacher has given me the best I can. From there I can continue with the pencil and draw what I think this might be, right? And I can make something out of it. But you have so many other tools here as well. So you can use a crayon, you can use calligraphy, you can use a paintbrush. There's all different choices. You can choose your different colors that are in here. So I can go and get a color and start actually drawing or sketching around this. What I really like is every time that you add a layer, if I go over here, I can see the different layers. So this is one layer that I have, and I could move this layer to the back, to the front, or even delete the layer if I decide I no longer want that layer showing. But it's kind of cool how each time you use a new tool, it adds a layer on top. And there's other choices here as well. So I can do shapes, and there's also different kinds of images and so on and so forth. But what a great way to put a digital spin on taking a simple object and creating a picture with it, at the same time showing your creativity and what you can come up with. As you can see, I have a bit of an abstract creativity today, but it sure is fun using this tool, and Sketchpad would be great, not just for this activity, but for any type of drawing or artistic activity in your classroom. In the past, I've used riddles to quickly fill up some time if we have a little extra time, or just brain teasers for the students to work on throughout the day when they have a little free time. Here's one for you to try to think about. A man has married 20 women in a small town. All of the women are still alive and none of them are divorced. The man has broken no laws. Who is this man? I have click here for the answer. Have you figured it out? Let's see if you have or not. It is a priest. So now you can see how the riddle makes sense. So what I've done with students in the past then is had these riddles up on the board, or you could put them digitally on like a Google presentation or a slideshow, and have the students take a riddle a day and think about if they can come up with the answer. These riddles are great at helping students to show their creative problem-solving skills. What I have here is just a resource that I found on the internet of different riddles that you can take and use in your classroom, and they are categorized by content areas. So the first ones are mathematical insight problems, and then we have some verbal insight problems, and as you go down there's other types as well. So here's some spatial insight problems. Those are some of my favorite. You can use this resource. I'll leave the link in the presentation for you to click and get to. Finally, have you ever heard of remote associates? These were some of my favorites. These are like the riddles, but they work in a little different way. So this is taking three words that are not related to one another, such as falling, actor, and dust, and then trying to think what would be the fourth word that would connect all of these together. In this case, the answer is star, because we have a falling star, a movie star, and stardust. Some of these are real easy to come up with, and others are much more challenging. So what I have for you is a resource that I've used in the past for remote associates that is digital online. On my presentation, if you just click here, it will take you to the website. What we have here are remote associates tests with the three words, and they tell you the level of difficulty. What I like is that you can look at the three words, you can show the answer if you want, you can click just on the three words and have just those three words projected. Then you can again type your answer here, or you can show the answer and think, oh, blind date, blind alley, blindfold. Well, I hope I've given you some ideas to integrate into your classroom and use with your students for creativity. Whether you're trying to challenge students on their divergent thinking or their creativity in artistic ways or mathematically, it doesn't matter. It's just the challenge of trying to be creative and come up with something that's unique and different. All right, until next time, I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all getting ready for a great fall season. Take care, everyone. Bye.